Hi everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Kishore's podcast. Today, we are diving into a topic that's been on the minds of many developers lately. What does it mean to go back to unassisted coding? As most of you know, recent advancements in AI, particularly in generative AI and the language models around, have revolutionized the way we develop code. Tools like GitHub Copilot, Amazon Whisper, and Tab9 have quickly become an integral part of the developer's toolkit. These tools help us to write code faster or reduce errors and even to learn new programming patterns. GitHub Copilot, for instance, can suggest entire functions, generate code snippets, or even offer documentation as you type, making it like an ever-present assistant that understands the context what you are building. Similarly, Amazon Code Whisperer offers features but is designed to be tightly integrated with AWS services, providing context-aware code recommendations that aligns well with AWS best practices. This is a big benefit for the developer community working majorly on the AWS stack. Similarly, Tab9, another popular code assistant, is known for its deep learning capabilities, allowing it to provide autocomplete suggestions in multiple programming languages, while also being lightweight and particularly able to run locally, which is particularly appealing to developers who are concerned about data privacy. These are only few examples. Each of these tools cater to different needs and ecosystems, but all share the same goal at the end, which is to make coding more efficient and help developers solve problems more quickly. But this brings up some interesting questions. How significant are these tools for today's development community? What would it mean to go back to unassisted coding? And is it something we might ever see happen? Not sure. Let's start by understanding how embedded these tools are becoming in our daily work. For many of us, AI-driven code assistants have transformed the development process in ways we hadn't imagined even just a few years ago. These tools help us get from idea to implementation much quicker by taking care of more repetitive or boilerplate parts of coding. Their impact is hard to overstate. A recent survey from Stack Overflow, for example, shows that over 70% of the developers who have access to AI code assistants use them regularly. They are not just useful for speed up development, they are also a learning tool at the end. For example, offering suggestions to the developers about new libraries or functions or approaches they might not have considered otherwise. So, with all these benefits, what do you think? Would we ever consider going back to unassisted coding? Let's imagine a bit what it might look like to return to a world without these AI-powered assistants. I know it's not too long ago, but still it feels like a long time. First, it's important to recognize that coding before AI tools required a different kind of mental stamina. We will have to manually search through documentation or debug line by line and spend a lot more time on trial and error. Of course, some of this was valuable. It had helped us to understand a deeper understanding of the underlying systems and foster problem-solving skills that were absolutely essential to become a proficient developer. Now, without these AI tools, developers would need to rely more heavily on their own knowledge base or memory and traditional resources like documentations, forums, and tutorials. We obviously need to have more deliberate and careful coding practices where understanding each line of code is crucial because there's no AI backup offering suggestions or filling in the blanks there. But here's the thing. Is this even likely? Will we ever go back? The short answer is probably not. The genie is out of the bottle. AI tools have already proven their value, and the development community has embraced them with open arms. Now, it's hard to imagine going back, especially after we have seen all the productivity gains, the reduction in routine tasks, and the potential for learning these tools that they provide day in and day out. However, there are some situations where unassisted coding could still play a key role. For example, in environments where security and privacy are paramount, like certain government agencies or industries with strict data protection laws. Obviously, developers might not in these areas will be allowed to use AI code assistants due to concerns about data leakage or misuse, right? In these cases, coding without AI assistant might remain the norm for the foreseeable future. Additionally, also some developers prefer unassisted coding to sharpen their skills or understand a problem deeply without any external guidance. The developers might choose to turn off AI tools when they want to challenge themselves or when working on highly specialized or creative projects where probably the AI generated suggestions might not be very helpful. So, where does this leave us? The reality is that AI code assistants are here to stay, and their use will likely continue to grow. But going back to unassisted coding isn't necessarily also a bad thing either. It might be more about finding a balance between using these tools to enhance productivity on one side and also ensuring that we don't lose the core skills and understanding that define great developers at the end. To wrap things up, I think it's safe to say that while the days of purely unassisted coding may be behind us for most developers, there will always be room for both approaches for sure. It's about knowing when to leverage these powerful AI tools and when to rely on your own expertise and instincts. Dear listeners, what do you think? Is there a future where we might ever go back to unassisted coding? Or is that as an idea that's outdated as a floppy disk probably, right? I would love to hear your thoughts. And one bonus question if you are from SAP community. Have you tried SAP's Joule to assist you on the build code? If so, what's your feedback? Leave in comments. Thanks for joining me today on Kishore's podcast. And don't forget to subscribe, share this episode with your friends and colleagues if you have liked. And if you have a feedback, please do leave a comment. Until next time, remember to keep exploring, innovating, and embracing the possibilities of tomorrow.